Next on Worcester News tonight, a storm hitting central Massachusetts, dumping snow, causing delays and cancellations. Plus, what goes into some school districts' decision-making when it comes to canceling classes or releasing students early. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Snow and a wintry mix is falling across central Massachusetts at this hour. Many are continuing their cleanup efforts into the late hours Tuesday night. Our Cam Jandro spoke with them. He's live in Worcester tonight. Cam, how are the conditions out there?
Not ideal, Anna. We're here on Gold Star Boulevard in Worcester. Our main road usually pretty busy, but not much traffic and not much traction. The roads are very slippery right now. There's mostly rain. It's not really even snowing anymore, making for some slippery conditions. We caught it with a few of the people that had to step outside and leave their house today to see how they were dealing with the weather. Residents on Worcester's Malden Street are out with shovels and snowblowers Tuesday night, cleaning up during a winter storm.
The wind is making it feel more colder, so like I'm not really enjoying it, but I had to do it.
Snow fell in central Massachusetts for much of the day. There was no school in Worcester, but there were still plenty of people on the roads. The weather made it tough to get around for those who had to leave the house.
Since this afternoon has been difficult, yes. It's very slippery underneath. It's packed and they're plowing, but it's still slippery.
I love the snow. I hate the other people. They don't use their blinkers and they just tend to panic and they don't know how to drive.
As the day moved on, the snow slowly changed into freezing rain in some parts, forcing this guy to clean his sidewalks earlier than expected.
I decided to come out here, get most of it done first. I figured I'd be out here before it starts changing over to rain. Then it's going to get too heavy to move, so.
The area is still well below average for snowfall. The National Weather Service reporting just over a foot in Worcester since the start of December.
But it hasn't been that bad this winter, so you got to take it as it is, And this is an easy snow so far.
You psych up, for it. When it comes, you just do what you have to do.
Now, the city of Worcester says they have more than 350 pieces of equipment battling this storm. So they're asking residents, if you have to leave the house, make sure you give the plows enough room for them to do their job. Another thing to keep in mind, the winter parking ban is still in effect. Live in Worcester tonight, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
Well, the snow we saw outside has changed over, and while it will be slippery tonight and Wednesday morning, we're expecting a bit of a warm-up. Here's a first look at our local forecast with meteorologist Chris Gloniger.
I'm meteorologist Chris Gloniger. Once this storm system moves out, we are expecting conditions to improve during our Wednesday. In fact, a high of 42 degrees, expecting a lot of that snow and ice to melt during the afternoon. That melting will continue on Thursday, and it will also continue into Friday with temperatures approaching 50 degrees. And if the snow doesn't melt, it will likely wash away by that point with some heavier rain moving in. Your hour-by-hour forecast on this evening's snow and how much we're expecting, I'll have those forecast details coming up in a few minutes.
Today's snow also impacting air travel. Several flights at the Worcester Regional Airport were canceled Tuesday due to weather, including flights to Florida and New York City. Meanwhile, plows worked to clear the airport's roadways and parking lots. Massport recommends travelers check their airline's website before heading to the airport. For some, today's snow is a welcome sight after the mild winter we've had so far. Nick DeLildo is owner of Jam Landscaping. He says while there hasn't been much snow this season, they've been busy salting icy roads over the past few weeks. But they're definitely happy to see the snow. He says plowing is a boost to their business.
Keep our employees going, for long hours throughout the night. I hope it snows even more. Like you said, let it come down.
Yeah. DeLildo says they'll be out plowing until the storm is over. Worcester canceled school today and many others released students early. The decision to make a change in the school day isn't always an easy one for superintendents. Our Chandler Walsh has more on what goes into this decision.
A snow-covered parking lot outside Wire Village School in Spencer. Students here were dismissed early before the first snowflakes fell. Superintendent Paul Hawhey says the decision wasn't a simple one.
We started yesterday dialoguing about what was happening with the weather and seeing what the National Weather Service was forecasting. and it just made sense. We didn't want people getting stranded later part of the day.
Haughey says he makes the call with help from the DPWs in his district and sometimes even police and local businesses. He also has a group text message with 16 superintendents from surrounding districts to hear what they're experiencing.
Knowing that and being able to make sure for our neighboring communities that, for us, can we get our kids safely home to and fro?
Kathy Benoit picked up her granddaughter Gwyneth off the bus. She and her husband helped their children by picking up their grandkids for delays and dismissals.
It's inconvenient to parents, but when you figure out how many children they're transporting on the buses and the bus companies and the liability, you can understand it from their perspective also.
And to grandmother's house they go with a plan for some fun.
Make a snowman.
Though the decision can inconvenience families, Haughey says safety is the priority. He says the concern for this storm was the forecasted fast snowfall rate during the normal dismissal time.
When they're here, we want everybody to know they're safe. We've got heat, hot water, electricity, they're getting a good education, and everybody's safe. Well, it's the same getting them home.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
The snow caused slick conditions. Sutton police say this car slid off Dudley Road this afternoon. This happened just as the snow started collecting on the ground. The car hit a tree, causing damage to the front end and hood of the vehicle. The two people inside were not hurt and were able to drive away after the accident. AAA is warning drivers to use extra caution while driving in these conditions. They say the fast-falling snow and cold temperatures is a bad combination for cars. AAA Northeast spokesperson Mary McGuire says Tuesday is busy with dozens of calls. She advises people to stay off the roads if possible, and if you do have to travel, to take it slow.
We always are very busy when it is stormy out. We are even busier when it is extremely cold, because that's when we see a real preponderance of battery calls. If you are out driving, you need to remember that you simply have to allow greater stopping distance. You have to slow down. If you do go into a skid, you should turn your wheel in the direction in which you want to go and avoid slamming on your brakes.
McGuire says the company has all phone operators and roadside technicians working Tuesday to handle the increase in calls. Veterans Inc. is kicking off its Show a Veteran Some Love campaign. Through February 14th, the nonprofit is asking people to make a $14 donation and then post a photo to social media of themselves holding a heart with the name of a veteran in their life. The organization says it's a way of helping out veterans in need while recognizing the veterans special to you. They're hoping to raise $14,000 by Thursday, which will go to services including transitional housing programs, employment and training, and counseling. You can donate by visiting their website, veteransinc.org. A 19-year-old man is behind bars after sending Spencer police on an hours-long manhunt. Rasheem Rosa faced an arraignment and a dangerousness hearing Tuesday. Police say he was involved in a custody battle over a 17-year-old and took off into the woods with a 3-foot sword. Rosa was found with the juvenile and arrested in Sutton Monday. He's being held without bail. Social media helps Auburn police identify a suspect in a stolen credit card case. About an hour after posting photos of the suspect on social media, community members were able to let the department know who it was. Police say the woman and an unidentified man broke into vehicles at a local gym. The department is still searching for the suspects.